Well, good afternoon, guys, and welcome to Mark Bayeski YouTube channel. Welcome to the Pure Energy Healing Academy. The Academy is filling up really well. We're getting new students booking every day at markbayeski.com. So I'm so excited for the future of 2018. It's really going to be great. Not because the Academy keeps going, but more because people are coming here to be able to spend 4 days and then go back home and start their work, meaning that there's more healers in the world that help people every day. I mean, they're already healers when they come here anyway, but it just strengthens their understanding, and they see things that they may have not have seen because they've been busy doing other things. This gives them an opportunity to feel and see and experience something so profound that they take it away with them, and for the rest of their life they'll always be able to tap into that energy and share it with others. Therefore, we heal the world one soul at a time, and I love that. I really do. So I'm very excited. Anyway, today's topic of conversation is via a dear friend of mine who I love deeply. She said, it's not on my phone, but it was. The topic of conversation today is forcing or pushing for a given situation, or verse trusting verse trusting, is that right? So I think what she was trying to say, and I think I get it, is that what is the difference and which is the best way? If we see something that we really want, do we push and force our way to get it, or do we trust rather than push and force? And it's a great question, and you know what? It's one which has been very profound through my whole life. And I can talk about this topic of conversation because I've experienced many different types of trusting now, and of the forcing and pushing energy before I became more enlightened and more aware about this spiritual path and journey. So let's start at the very beginning, when I was young, I went to a shop every single day, nearly. I don't know why, but I loved this shop. It was a second-hand scruffy shop belonging to a lady called Mrs. Singh. And I used to often bring her tennis balls because I lived next to a tennis court, and I agreed with the owners of the tennis court that if I walked around the tennis court and picked up any mucky balls, I could keep them, and any clean balls I would throw back over to the tennis court. So it was a great opportunity for me to go home, wash the tennis balls, and on a Saturday go to Mrs. Singh's and sell them to her. And she liked me a lot and I liked her a lot, and we spent time talking, and I did a lot of things when I was young, like I used to knock on doors and leave a bag saying, if there's anything that you don't want, can you leave it in this bag and I'll come and pick it up Saturday morning. So I had a routine. I used to go leave bags all over houses and then go back, and there'd be loads of stuff that I'd go straight to Mrs. Singh's with and sell them and make a fortune as a kid. So these were just like wise little moves that I thought as a kid. Nobody told me what to do, but I just thought. And actually, some years later, I think charities picked up on that, and they started doing that then, leaving a bag and saying anything that you don't want. So I think I was probably one of the first that did it, really. I didn't know anybody else who did. So I had loads of little wise ideas, and I used to do things. Anyway, for some reason, this particular shop that Mrs. Singh owned, I always had a fascination with. And I always knew deep in the back of my mind that I would own this shop one day. I didn't know why, but I just did. Anyway, many years later, Mrs. Singh came to me and said, I'm selling my shop, Mark, and I want you to buy it and nobody else. And I said, I'd be happy to buy it. I need to get a mortgage. So I went to the bank, and the bank, after a long effort of me going and having to get paperwork, I didn't push or force, but I worked very hard towards getting the paperwork to be able to buy this particular shop. The day came when it was going through, and then apparently the bank had changed their mind and said they wanted more money. It was that point where I thought, you know what, either I walk away or I push harder and find that money. So I don't know how I did it, but it was an extra 5,000, and I managed to secure it by borrowing it again, borrowing a bit more, and I managed, but I pushed and forced at that. So I look back today, and that particular property is up for sale now and selling, believe it or not. Today it's just gone through with a sale. And so I say to you this on that particular subject: should I have walked away, or did I do the right thing? Was it pushing or forcing? Well, I kind of felt upset when the bank said they weren't going to lend me the money and they needed more. I could have walked away, but I felt so strongly about this that I worked very hard towards getting the rest of that money. So it wasn't really pushing or forcing, but it was a get up and go energy, and I really wanted to do it. Okay, today, would I do the same thing? Okay, I don't think I would. Has it made any difference in my life buying that shop? Not really. Would it have made a difference if I didn't? Not really. But it was what it was. I didn't make any money on it because I spent so much money to do it out. I think I've just broken even. It cost me a fortune to do out because it was a mess. So, okay. There was a guy who came to me for a session and was asking me many questions, and he seemed very frustrated and angry. And it was about a deal, and it was a deal to do with aeroplanes. So I think he was a very high flyer, so to speak. And basically he wanted this deal with his company, and he was borrowing money from big backers. Okay, so it was millions and millions and millions of pounds to start this new airplane company. Anyway, basically it all fell through. Everything fell through, and he was absolutely heartbroken. The reason why is because he spent a long time getting it all together and blah blah blah. About a year or two later, I saw this man again, and I asked him a question, how is everything now? And do you remember the time when you were so devastated about the aeroplane thing? And he laughed and smiled, and I said, what kind of position are you in now financially? And he said, doing really well. From that project that failed, something else appeared, which was far more greater. And looking back, he said, I can see now that I am so glad it failed and I didn't borrow the money, because I now see that whatever he was doing wouldn't have worked. At the time, he was a man that came to me and he was on his knees. He was basically broke and everything had gone wrong. And then 2 years later, he's in a position where he's absolutely doing amazing. So you see, from my observation of life and all the people who have come to me with sadness, whether that is love because they've pushed because they wanted that love back again, that they thought was the perfect man, and then I see over time that when they meet somebody else, they realise actually, wow, that wasn't the person for me. You see, there's a familiar pattern here. And that pattern is, I call spiritual intervention. Divine moments where spirit stops us and we feel so let down and upset, and we feel that because we've pushed and we've really tried, that we've let ourselves down, or the universe has let us down, when in actual fact the spirit world work alongside us and help us all the time. So for me, everything is as it should be. And I don't believe in pushing and forcing. I believe in getting up off your bum and enjoying what you do from day to day. I don't believe you have to push and force anything, but you still have to get up and make things happen. You have to look around and see what feels right, and you've got to work on that. But above all, the underlying energy is that if something doesn't work, there's a reason for it, and it's always on your side. It's never against you, ever. You feel it is at the time, but it's not. I smile and say, you were really lucky. So every time something goes wrong and you hit a wall, I say that wall has been put there deliberately to stop you going down a path that could have ended up really bad, which you never saw. But you will see in time why this happens. So when anybody comes to me saying, I'm lost, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, I simply say, hey, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Trust in your moment. That is the key to everything. Mark, everything's gone wrong. No, actually everything's gone right. You have to change your chip. You have to change the way you see things. Spirit always watches and protects you all the time. If something goes wrong, it hasn't. It's gone right. It really has gone right. They've helped you, whether that is a test or a challenge that you needed to go through to become stronger than that very incident, that very issue, that very problem that you think was a problem. You become stronger than, and thus you become more aware, more wise, more stronger, and then when you realize that and you change the way you think, then everything runs far more smoothly. And even if something feels like it's gone wrong, it hasn't. Even if something challenges you again, it hasn't. It's only there to help you grow stronger. So you ask me, what is the difference between pushing and working hard and trusting? I believe ultimately that everything revolves around a trust in your journey. Everything that you do ultimately should be on a trust energy. So look, I'm going to go for that and let's see what happens, rather than I'm going to go for that and make it work. By doing that, you set yourself such a goal, such a standard, such a measuring stick that you're going to fall. Ultimately, you're going to fall. And even if you do get it, at the end of the day, it's never actually what you thought it was. What I thought I wanted in life, now I look back and think that's not actually what I wanted. Actually, it was the journey that was more important. And sometimes we miss that. Sometimes we're too busy looking and trying to get there, and we miss everything that comes our way. So what I try and help you with is to stop trying to force, stop trying to push, stop trying to make things happen, and just enjoy the journey to where you're going. So if you're going to go there, you're going to go there. It's going to happen. Nothing's going to stop you from that if you're meant to go there, because you're going there. And if you're not, there's nothing you can do to make it not happen. It's just going to be. So it's kind of like a really deep acceptance of your life's journey. So it's not like I'm saying don't, trust, just sit down, it'll all come to you. That's not what I've ever said. I've always said, go and find something that makes you happy. Do things that make you happy. Enjoy your day, enjoy and watch out for the signs. Watch out for the signs. We miss them because we're too busy elsewhere. We're too busy over there instead of being where we are in the present moment and enjoying it. So life is a beautiful journey if we live in the moment and you just trust your journey. Many amazing things happen, synchronicities, and they make me laugh because you come to me crying because something has gone wrong and I'm smiling saying no, actually it's gone right, and you'll understand this in time. So when things may seem to go wrong for me, I don't see that anymore as that. I actually say the word, oh, that's interesting. It's a good word to use. Oh, that's interesting. And then I observe and see, but I don't focus too much to try and figure out why. I just observe it and say, okay, I'm sure it'll reveal itself all in its good time. So I change the way I think and feel. No more anger, no more getting frustrated with things. You know what? It is what it is. Where you are right now is where you're meant to be, listening to this. Out of the millions and millions of videos, you're listening to this for a reason. You found this channel for a reason, and you will find other people along your journey for a reason. All of these things are a blessing, like you are to me when you send me messages and you say such wonderful things. They're a blessing to me. And then you say, Mark, I've learned this or I've learned that and I felt this and felt that. I listen to this. I listen to you. You're my teacher as well. We're all teachers and pupils. Come on. So this is a journey. I'm going to fall. You're going to fall. But you know what? We get back up. We wipe ourselves, we brush ourselves up, and we crack on. And eventually, the pain and suffering that we felt very deeply disappears, and we become stronger than that pain and realize that's why we're here, to conquer the fear of life, because that's all it is, dear. It's simply a fear. All up here. Clear that, life becomes amazing. And then you see all your gifts. You see all the signs around you like I do every day now. I love you all. Thank you for subscribing to Mark Bayeski YouTube channel. I hope some of this made some sense to you. It's sometimes a little bit all over the place, but I think you get me now. I kind of go all over, but then come back to a place that kind of makes sense to me, and I hope it makes sense to you. Ultimately, I love you for being my friend, and thank you for always supporting me and being so kind. Your inbox messages and your your messages via YouTube, you wouldn't believe how much you uplift me from day to day, your kindness and all of the things that you say to me. It's really, really beautiful. And I'm so glad I'm able to make these videos daily and still be healthy and look after my body. And I hope to be here a long time and to be your friend. Okay, guys, have a lovely day. It's a beautiful day today. Get ready for your miracles. They're coming your way. Grab that.